welcome to your custom deep dive. Today, our mission is unpacking a historical narration script about Sri Lanka's Galle fort.
Right, the UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Exactly. We really want to understand how a centuries-old military stronghold functions right now as like a vibrant, living time capsule.
Yeah, it's wild. The fact that people are actively living and working there, walking down these narrow cobblestone streets past quiet mosques and historic churches.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. I mean, it's almost like a historical terrarium, right? Where people are just living alongside centuries-old Dutch villas.
That's a great way to put it. And it really comes down to sheer geographical obsession. The European powers who built it, first the Portuguese, then heavily fortified by the Dutch, they weren't just planting flags.
Right, they were locking down a critical choke point on the Lanka Sea.
Exactly. This was the ultimate maritime highway of the ancient Silk Road. So you had ships coming from Greece, Arabia, and China.
Looking for what? Cinnamon, gems, ivory?
All of the above. But to control that maritime highway, you need serious hardware. And that's where the massive blocks of granite and, surprisingly, coral come in.
Okay, wait, I have to push back here. Here's where it gets really interesting. Coral sounds incredibly fragile, you know? A living reef doesn't exactly scream impenetrable military defense.
Right, it sounds totally counterintuitive.
Yeah, how does a wall made of sea debris survive cannon fire, let alone centuries of just a pounding ocean?
Well, combining coral with granite was actually a structural masterstroke. I mean, the heavy granite provided the immovable mass, but the coral is highly porous.
Oh, so it's not rigidly brittle.
Exactly. Instead of a wall that just cracks under immense pressure, the porous nature of those coral blocks actually absorbs and dissipates kinetic energy.
Oh, wow. So it's functioning almost like an architectural crumple zone on a modern car. It takes the hit and disperses the force rather than snapping.
That is a perfect analogy, and that specific engineering choice, which was designed purely for 17th century warfare, is the exact mechanism that saved it during the 2004 tsunami.
Wait, really? The coral walls protected it from the tsunami?
Yes, the bastions' angles and that shock-absorbing coral dispersed the water's force. Those colonial ramparts acted as a literal shield.
That is unbelievable. So the outside world was fundamentally altered by the disaster, but the ancient heart of Galle was preserved by the very walls meant to stop enemy fleets.
Yeah, it's incredible. And you can still see that deep connection to the turbulent water today.
Right, like the script mentions those local daredevils diving off flag rock straight into the surf. So you have this incredibly turbulent coastal proximity constantly testing the fort.
It is constant. But because the structure is so resilient and it sits right on that vital shipping lane, it still has to actively manage all that maritime traffic.
Which brings us to the Galle Lighthouse, right? Rising directly out of the Utrecht Bastion.
Yes, it remains the oldest light station in Sri Lanka. Originally, the British established a light there in 1848 to protect approaching ships.
But that one was lost to a fire, right?
Right, yeah. So the current automated White Tower, which is 26 meters tall, was built right before World War II in 1939 to continue that legacy.
So instead of just a static monument, it's actively working. It's almost like a giant maritime circuit board or a ghost bridging two eras.
I love that image.
Yeah, you have this automated beacon sweeping across the bay, guiding modern vessels today with the exact same geographical logic it used to guide in heavy wooden galleons.
And that continuity is what makes the fort so unique. I mean, when the sun sets and the stone takes on that golden hue, you can actually smell the salt spray mixing with tropical spices in the air.
It really is a place where history is lived every single day.
It's the literal infrastructure of their daily life.
Exactly. So what does this all mean for you listening? Think about the underlying irony of those massive walls.
Yeah, built by colonial empires strictly as weapons of war.
Right, designed explicitly to keep enemies out. Yet their ultimate legacy was serving as a mechanical shield against a natural disaster, preserving a diverse, peaceful community inside.
It completely flipped its purpose.
It really did. It leaves you wondering, what structures are we building today for one highly specific, maybe even defensive purpose that might end up serving a completely different life-saving purpose centuries from now?
The Galle Library, established in 1832.
It's beautiful architecture.
Let's walk down this street toward the fort.